Hello, everyone. Today's joke of the day is, what did the turkey say to the turkey hunter? Stay tuned to find out. Our learning target for today is, I can write and solve word problems involving inequalities. So before we get started, I wanted just to talk through a few word problem solving strategies. Okay? The first one is you want to read through the entire problem. Okay, so just read through it first once to kind of get a feel for what you will be asked. All right. Second thing is you should highlight and underline the important information and keywords that you need to solve the problem. Okay, so highlight and underline the important information. So here I'll even underline important information. Okay, so things could include, the words to know which inequality you should be using. Let me think of a better way to phrase that. Let's say inequality words. Any sort of operation words. And anything that's going to help you identify the variable. Which is actually the next step. Okay? The next step you need to do is identify your variables. Okay, what don't we know? Right? What is the thing that you're looking for? Usually that comes, look at the question. Okay, so after reading the whole problem, there will be a question, and you'll want to look at that question to figure out what your variables are, because the thing that you're looking for is going to be your variable, like your x. Okay? And then after you're done with that, you'll want to solve it. Well, first you'll write your equation, then you'll solve it, or your inequality, I guess. And then you'll write your answer in a complete sentence, and always check or justify your answer. Okay, that's super important. Make sure, does your answer make sense? Okay, like if you're talking about money and you end up, or like, I guess money, you could end up with a negative number if you're in debt or something, right? But if you're talking about like cookies, you can't end up with a negative number, right? So make sure you always check, like, does your answer make sense? All right, now let's think about some things that are going to help us out, right? Some inequality words, right? So what words or phrases are going to mean greater than? Okay, well, we could have more than, bigger than, or greater than, right? If you see the words greater than, obviously it will be a greater than sign. And remember, this is what a greater than sign looks like. Okay, now let's think about what words or phrases would mean less than. Well, we'd have smaller than. We would have fewer than. And then also less than, obviously. Okay. Now, greater than or equal to, if it's not specifically saying greater than or equal to, can actually be kind of confusing because it seems like that's not the way that it should be. Okay, so one word or phrase that would mean greater than or equal to is going to be at least. Oops. Erase that. At least. Okay, meaning that it's going to be at least a number, right? If I had at least $30, okay, that means I'm going to have $30 or more than that. Okay, so greater than or equal to, the words at least are going to mean greater than or equal to. Also, in a similar phrase, no fewer than. So no fewer than is going to mean more than, right? Or equal to. Okay, so have those written down and make sure you refer to those when you're looking at your word problems to know what symbol to use. Okay, same thing with less than or equal to, or this should just say less than or equal to. And that would be at most, all right, or no more than. Okay, those would be the opposites of at least and no fewer than. Okay, those are going to mean less than or equal to, and remember this is your symbol for less than or equal to. Okay, now let's put this into practice. We are going to write and solve an equality to represent each of these situations. Okay, so in this case, we have Keith, and he has $500 in a savings account at the beginning of summer. So 500, oops, I want to use the highlighter. So $500 at the beginning. Okay, so he starts with $500. Oops, now I don't want the highlighter. Okay, and then he wants to have at least, okay, at least, oh, again, I gotta switch back to the highlighter. At least, okay, so we know which symbol that means. We know that that's going to mean greater than or equal to, at least. And he wants to have at least $200 in the account by the end of the summer. So at least $200 at the end of summer. Okay, so at the end of the summer, $200. All right, and he withdraws or takes out, that's a keyword. And that's really going to mean subtracting, minus. $25 a week. Okay, $25 a week for his cell phone bill. Okay, so $25 per week. And we know that a week, okay, per week, that means we're going to multiply. Okay, so, and we're trying to figure out how many weeks he can do this for. Okay, so weeks is going to be our variable, right? Number of weeks. It's going to be our variable W. All right, so let's write this out. Okay, so he starts with $500. And we know that he's going to withdraw, right? He's going to take out $25 a week. So we're going to subtract $25 times the number of weeks, right? Times the number of weeks. And then he wants to have at least $200. Okay, so we're going to have $200. And then we need some sort of symbol in there. And at least means that it's going to be greater than or equal to, right? We want that number that he ends up with at the end of the summer to be greater than or equal to $200. Okay? Now that we have this written, we can solve. All right, we'll start by subtracting 500 on both sides. And we get negative 25W is greater than or equal to negative 300. And then we want to divide by negative 25. Oops. Divide by negative 25. And we are left with W, and actually we divided by a negative, so we switch the sign. It's less than or equal to 12. And this is 12 weeks. All right, so we can write write a sentence. Keith can take out money for no more than 12 weeks. Which is great because that's shorter than the long length of summer. All right? Okay, period. Next question. Skateland charges a $50 flat fee. Okay, so we have a $50 flat fee. That means it's going to be a one-time fee for a birthday party rental, and $5.50 for each person. So we know that each means multiplication. Okay, so that's going to be, we're going to multiply. All right, Joanne has no more than $100. So no more than, and that's going to be less than or equal to, like we talked about, less than or equal to $100 to spend on the birthday party. How many people can Joanne invite to her birthday party without exceeding her limit? How many people? Okay, so that means that P is going to be the number of people. That's going to be our variable that Joanne can invite. Okay, now let's write an equation. All right, so it charges a $50 flat fee. Okay, so there's just going to be $50. Nothing else happens with that. And, okay, and, oh, I forgot about that word. Okay, and means we're going to add. So we're going to add $5.50 for each person. Well, people is the number of, is our variable. Okay, so we're going to add $5.50 And for each, okay, each means we're going to multiply. So for each person, we'll add 550 times the number of people. Okay, and no more than $100. So we're going to say less than or equal to $100 is the amount of money she can spend. Okay, and let's now solve our equation, or our inequality. We'll start by subtracting 50 from both sides. And then we get 550p is less than or equal to 50. And we'll divide by 550 on both sides, or 5.5. And will be a p. We don't need to flip our inequality because we don't have a negative number. And we'll take 50 divided by 5.5, which will give us, it's going to give me 9.09 repeating. Okay, but we can't have 0.09 of a person. So we know that Joanne can invite up to 9 people to her birthday party. And there you go. Okay, now for today's joke of the day. What did the turkey say to the turkey hunter? Quack, quack. Thanks for watching and have a great day.